Ultamize. Let me give you something extremely practical because one of the biggest problems people have when they start speaking is simple. They don't know how to structure what they're saying, so they ramble. They circle around ideas. They start strong, then drift, then end awkwardly. And they think, I'm just not good at this whole motivational speaking thing yet. Well, maybe, but it's not necessarily true. You just don't have a structure yet. Let me show you what most people do. They press record and then they start something like, so today I want to talk about something that I think is really important. And you can already feel it. There's no direction, no clarity, no reason to keep listening or watching. Let's fix that. I'm going to give you a very simple structure, 4 parts. You can use it immediately. Hook. Say something interesting right at the beginning. Then you need a story, an insight, and an action. That's it. Hook, story, insight, action. Let's walk through it with a real example. Let's say your idea is about confidence. Here's a bad version. So, confidence is really important, and I think a lot of people struggle with it. And what I found is you've already lost people. Here's a better version. We'll start with a hook. Let's start with a better hook. Confidence doesn't come from thinking, it comes from doing something repeatedly. Now I'm listening. Then go to a story. I remember working with an executive who was brilliant in meetings, but the moment he had to present, his voice tightened. He started rushing. TJ, I don't know what I'm doing here. Now it's real. Now it's specific. You got to deliver an insight. It's not enough to tell stories. The issue wasn't his intelligence. It was that he had almost no repetition speaking out loud under pressure. That was my insight. That was the message. Now it's clear. So what's the action? If you want confidence, stop preparing silently and start speaking out loud every day. Record yourself on video again and again until you like what you see. That will give you confidence. So that's a complete message. It's clear, it's focused, it's memorable. Now, compare that to what most people do. They start talking, they add more and more ideas, they lose their point, and they finish with something like, so, yeah, that's what I wanted to share with you. Well, that's not a message. It's not motivational. That's just a stream of thoughts. Here's another quick contrast, a bad ending. Anyway, I hope that helps. Don't do that. A better ending. Speak out loud every day, even for a minute, and your confidence will change. It will surge. Now it sticks. This structure does something very important. It forces clarity. It forces you to decide, what am I actually saying? And when you're clear, your audience feels it. Now, here's something else. At the beginning, you may need to think through this structure. That's okay. But very quickly, it becomes natural. You start to feel when something needs a story. You start to recognize when your insight isn't clear yet. You start to land your motivational messages more effectively. Here's the idea to install. If I have a structure, I don't ramble. That's the difference. So the next time you press record, don't just start talking. Start with intention, a hook, an insight, an action, and watch what happens. You'll sound more like a motivational speaker, not because you changed your personality, but because you gave your message a shape. Very, very important. You need to deliver an insight with the message. Otherwise, it sounds generic. The number one problem I see with every one of my students attempting to be a motivational speaker and they're posting content online is it's too short. There's no personal story. You don't want to tell a starfish story or a walking in the sand and footprints disappearing story that people have heard 1,000 times. You need a unique story that packages your insight if you want to motivate people. It's not enough to simply say, courage is important or reliance is important. People have heard that a million times. It doesn't stick.